Pivotal weekend, though, first. We might look back at the end of the year and say, that was it. Late August, that was the weekend. It ended for three clubs. And not three gritty and gutty underdogs. We're talking three clubs that are top 6 in payroll. In fact, of all the Malaise teams that we've been talking about all year on this show, that's been a theme, only one has snapped out of it. One survivor has managed to break through. That's Seattle. And they had a big breakthrough this weekend. So the second biggest story of the season, for me, after the pitch clock, of course, the pitch clock has transformed baseball. The next biggest story are the mystifying seasons for so many promising and/or big money teams. Let's do some digging in. Let's start with the three clubs that probably just found the end of the road. It's not just that they lost. It's the way they lost that makes it seem so bad. Yankees swept by the hated Red Sox in the Bronx. They're now 4 under 500. On Friday and Saturday, they were done by the second inning. On Sunday, they had a go-ahead run overturned in the 8th, and after losing the lead in the top of the 9th, came so close to tying it up again in the bottom of the 9th. Then a ball off the wall. It was first and second still with nobody outs. Even after that, Judge is next. Gleyber Torres is next. They still don't score. Yankees lose their 8th in a row. They're 1-9 this season against Boston. Extra painful. The Angels, meantime, lost 2 out of 3. They weren't swept, but they were obliterated by the Rays late Saturday night. They're 5-13 after the trade deadline, a trade deadline where they went for it. And to quote Cliff Floyd, who I worked with Saturday night, the Angels on Friday, quote, had a grand slam from Ohtani, a triple play, and a 5-1 lead. And they still lost by 3. That's hard to do. And the Padres swept in a doubleheader on Saturday. They're 7-11 in August and now 7 games under 500 in the front end of the doubleheader, too. Did you see this? Diamondbacks on Saturday. Juan Soto, bases loaded in the 9th, 2 outs, down by 2. He got a piece of that. It's going. It's going. Oh, a grand slam would have been the thing that propelled that big run. But it fell short. Extra painful. And they got blown out in the nightcap. They're losing, and they're losing with some extra flourish. So here is the reality. The Angels are 8.5 out of the wild card with 3 teams to pass. The Yankees also under 500. They're 9 out, 4 teams to pass. And there's some good teams ahead of them. This is over. I mean, it's not over, but it's about over. Padres, as bad as they are, 59-66. Okay, 6 out, not impossible, but 4 teams to pass. Those 4 teams are all within a game of each other. 6 out in late August, all right, not impossible, but each loss is a body shot, and they took some brutal shots this weekend. You know what's fascinating? Let's stay with these 3 clubs. The Yankees are in such a funk, it seems like they haven't been good in years. Not true. This was a super team halfway through last year. I know it's hard to remember, but on August 1st of last year, the Yankees were 70-34. August 1st. Earlier in the season, we were asking, are the 2022 Yankees as good as the 98 Yankees? I'm not making that up. We were asking that. And this year, they're not one of the Malaise teams because they were 11 games over 500 after they beat the Dodgers here in L.A. June 4th. Unfortunately for them, that was the day Aaron Judge lost his battle with the Dodger Stadium fence. Great catch, but Judge was gone. Anthony Rizzo was already concussed. We didn't know that. Carlos Rodon, the big acquisition in the offseason, started late, has an ERA over 7. So the Yankees and the Angels weren't the Malaise teams that I've been referring to. At different points in June, the Yanks were 11 over 500. The Angels were 8 games over. Here are the Malaise teams of 2023. Start with the National League. And what fascinates me, let me start with this, is that these aren't teams that I'm saying have made foolish moves, right? They're smart. They've been successful recently. 2 of them put enormous financial resources into making their teams better. Their problems happen on the field in real time, pitch by pitch. No easy solutions here. Let's start with the Cardinals. There they are. 93 wins last year. They started 10-24 by May 6th. Buried, never to recover. The Mets, they won 101 games last year. They were sharp. They vaulted to the #1 payroll of all time. They were 10 games under 500 by the end of June and checked out. Traded big at the deadline. Scherzer, Verlander, everybody else gone. And the Padres, 89 wins last year, but beat the Mets and the Dodgers in the playoffs. Not easy. They vaulted to #3 in payroll, and now 7 games under 500 in late August. Here's what's interesting about the Padres to me. This is their team. and it's their team for a while. They've locked up this core. They've got Machado, Tatis, Jake Cronenworth, and Xander Bogaerts under contract until 2030 at least, and later. They've got those four and Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove through 2027. It leads to a sobering decision. You're either you keep doubling down or you make a big move while you can. The one big piece that they can and get value back is Juan Soto, the guy they gave up the farm for just last year. Blake Snell and Josh Hader, who were not the problems this year, they were excellent, they're free agents. Dealing Soto is the one big move they have left. All right, here are the Malaise teams in the American League. The White Sox came off a disappointing year. This is the one Malaise team that was not in the playoffs last year. But they played 500 ball. They're 49-75. I mean, they're buried. They had a promising star-studded core. They were 8-21 by the end of April. 8-21. Terrible team right now. Guardians won 92 last year. Seemingly, they were the anti-White Sox, right? Won the division, contact, speed, pitching. The youngest team in the playoffs. Cleveland. Last year, team seemingly on the rise. They, like the Padres, 7 games under 500. Same record. Big disappointment. And then there's the one club that escaped the Malaise. One. The Mariners were 38-42 at the end of June this year, but Seattle, unlike everybody else, has broken out. Deep rotation, good fielding, deep defensively and offensively. They're top 7 in baseball in park-adjusted hitting and park-adjusted pitching. It makes sense, right? But, again, it makes sense for all the other clubs to be good, too, and they haven't been able to do it. The Mariners swept the Astros in a big series this weekend. They've won 19 of 24 and are in the final wild card spot and just 3 out of first place behind Texas. So there are so many lessons to this season. Right now, 6 cases of serious underperformance and only 1 has been able to turn around. Maybe this is it, or part of it. This is a quote from the manager of the Mariners, Scott Servais, Thursday afternoon after his team came from behind to beat the Royals just before going to Houston where they swept them. He didn't just laud Julio Rodriguez for a 3-run home run. He basically said, we haven't played clean baseball. We need to tighten it up. You know, our offense, which hadn't been the case all year, was able to overcome it, but we know we're not going to be able to overcome and continue to play like that. He saw they weren't playing tight. Playing tight, pitch by pitch, play by play, is the necessary component. And that, evidently, can change drastically year to year.